Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and sincere apologies for the slight delay. We apologize for this. We had a bit of a tiny technical glitch, which has been resolved now. You are welcome, participants from Kenya, from South Africa, from Nigeria, and of course, from Kenya. And I'd like to say congratulations to everyone shortlisted to participate in the training. We are really excited for you, and we hope that you have started your training. You're getting the right learnings, the right skill sets to, scale and launch your business when you eventually get to the end of the program and you're funded. So again, welcome. So we don't waste so much time, I will quickly introduce everyone on the call so we can move straight into the agenda for the day. My name remains Ibuku Odurinde. I'm the Entrepreneurship Program Manager. And on the call with me is Mr. Joshua Okori, is our Director of Operations at the Tony Elumelu Foundation, and will be facilitating this particular masterclass, how to develop a cohesive business plan. He has experience as a business expert, and he will give you all the knowledge and all the necessary learnings you need to move your business to the right direction and also develop a cohesive business plan. Also on the call is Foko Rollins. Foko Rollins remains our ever-committed mentor and has been supporting us for over 5 years on the program, if not more than 5 years. He has been doing a lot in terms of, volunteering for translations, also supporting, entrepreneurs in Cameroon. So again, you're welcome, Foko. And then we have Adora Okoli, who is our entrepreneurship programs executive. Again, she's going to be supporting us today while we take the masterclass, and we're going to be taking questions and answers after the masterclass session. So I'll quickly hand over to Mr. Joshua Okori so we can start the agenda of the day and start the session for the day. Over to you, Mr. Joshua Okori. You're welcome. And there again, just before Mr. Joshua takes on the session, Foko is going to be supporting with French translation, so we're not going to leave our fellow entrepreneurs from Senegal stranded. So we're going to have translations to French. So you're carried along and you get the right learnings from this particular masterclass. Thank you again and welcome everyone. Over to you, Mr. Joshua. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibuku. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon from Lagos. It's a privilege to be here today to join in our crusade of changing the African narrative by raising a new generation of business leaders who will not just be interested in profitability, but will be mindful of how what they do impacts the environment. So it is, I take it as a great privilege to be supporting in this process. So today we'll be going through what you need to know when you are preparing your business plan. So I will be taking you through this session and be having a deep dive in each of the components of a comprehensive business plan. And thereafter, if there are questions, I will take them. Once again, you're welcome. Thank you very much, Foko. Today, the flow of the masterclass, we look at what is an executive summary. We are talking about business plan. What is, go to the introduction. What information do we provide under that? Then we'll talk about product or service as the case may be. We look at industry and market analysis. We look at competition. Are there other people doing what you plan to do? What is SWOT analysis? We'll also consider that. We will talk about operations plan, marketing plan. We look at the management. What is it about the organizational structure? what would an investor be looking out for when we are talking about management. Then I will give a bit of a highlight of what a financial plan is, although there will be a session on financial planning, but I'll give you a bit of a summary or highlight of what it is, so that when you now go in details, you will have this high-level information at the back of your mind while you look at the details. And that will be it. I will be ready to respond to your questions. Thank you, Foko. An executive summary. It is what the name suggests, executive summary. Executives do not have time to go through maybe a 13, 14, 15, or 20-page business plan. So the executive summary is what gives them an idea of what is inside the business plan. So generally, as a general rule, executive summary shouldn't exceed 2 pages. And in that 2 pages, the executive summary should be able to communicate what the business is all about, what is unique about the product or service that you're offering. The executive summary should highlight the financial plan, and in it, it should state why the business is profitable. The executive summary should show the positive impact that the business will make in the community. Amongst others, the executive plan should also highlight the target market, unique service or selling proposition. What the executive summary does is that it gives an overview of what the business is all about, the people who are promoting it, what is required to make it success. So when somebody looks at an executive summary, he should be able to make a fair judgment of what the business is all about. So that's why it's important that the executive summary is very clear and concise. Executive summary is the last document to be written when you're preparing business plan. You would have finished all the aspects of the business plan, then you will now write the executive summary. So take note, it's not the first thing you do, it's the last thing you do when you're preparing the business plan. Thank you, Foko. So we'll now go into the components of a comprehensive business plan. The next thing we'll be talking about is the introduction. Before I go into the introduction, let me also explain here, because I'm aware there are some persons who haven't taken are not, their businesses are not in green, but they are likely to pivot into green. There are also persons here who had not taken the business management training, which they will do before they do the green entrepreneurship training program. What is a green business, or who is a green entrepreneur? A green business is simply an enterprise that has significant lower impact in the environment. Significant lower impact. So it is a business that takes into cognizance the environment, how to renew the environment. And there are different aspects of it. For instance, our friends from Kenya are focusing just in one aspect, waste management. And waste management is just one aspect of green sector, green economy. So there are other aspects. Entrepreneurs from Nigeria, South Africa, Senegal will be focusing on the broader green economy, while our entrepreneurs from Kenya will be focusing on waste management. And when you talk about waste management, it's broad. You have solid waste management services. That's some of the businesses you can do there. You have wastewater services. You have integrated solid waste services. You have e-waste. There are several services or waste services you can provide under waste management. So when you get to start your business plan, the first thing you'll be required to do is to write the introduction. Under the introduction, you have a section that will speak to the business and the stage of the business. What the investor will want to see there is the overview of your business. If you have a registered company, overview of the company of what it is. But if you do not have, if you don't have a registered company, not a problem. Give us an overview of the business. If it's registered, you speak to the ownership structure, because we also reckon here that if you have a partner, your partner's consent will be required at some point. So it would be nice also to state that here. However, what is important is to let us know the stage of the business. Is it an idea stage? Definitely, if it's an idea stage, you may not have done business registration. Is it at infancy? You're just, entering the market. Is it at the growth stage? Or is it matured now? Which stage is the business or the business you're doing? And when you have talked about that, is also here also you also talk about where the business is located. Are there people who are there dependencies to the business? You also mentioned it. The next thing an investor would like to see is what you stand for. What is your long-term goal? State it in your vision statement. Captures your long-term goal. Some people will tell you by 2030, I want to be the leading waste management entrepreneur service provider in Kenya, for instance. This is ambitious, but that's how you capture a long-term goal. The next thing the investor would like to see is, why are you in existence? What's your reason for existing? What's your purpose? That is also, you capture that in your mission statement. Mission statement lets people know why you are in business. And the next thing an investor will want to see in your business plan is your business objectives. Every venture has objective it seeks to achieve. What are they? And objectives must be measurable. It must be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. In the same way your long-term goal is time-bound, your objectives also must be time-bound. So that's why we say these objectives must be smart, must be specific, must be measurable, it must be achievable, must be realistic, it must be time-bound. So you state that clearly. For instance, someone in Kenya who is in waste management could say one of his objectives, it will be to reduce carbon emission in Mombasa. Lower, maybe if there's a place like downtown Mombasa, he can say his target is to lower, carbon emission in downtown Mombasa. That's an objective. It is specific. They can go further down to identify what it is now and what he wants it to be in 5 years, in 3 years, in 10 years. That's a specific, that's a measurable objective. The other thing that should be in this section of the business plan is your value proposition. Why do you want people to talk to you? Why do you want people to patronize you? Who is your target market, and what expectation, what benefits would they get patronizing you, exchanging their money for your product or your service? You state it here. It has to be compelling to make them want to speak to you. So your value proposition, what do you promise to deliver? What are the benefits that anyone coming to you will get? So these are some of the things you put in the introduction, and try as much as you can to do a bit of research and make references to data to back up your value proposition. So once you have prepared, you have written the introduction and talking about, the next thing you will require to do is to show your investors what you're offering, whether it's a product or a service. Now, under this section, you will describe the product you'll be offering, and are there problems you've identified in your community to solve? Or is there an existing product you're remodeling? Or there is a solution that is offered, but you are now inventively seeking to deliver that solution in a new and better way? That's what we will talk about here. For green economy, we need to be very clear, because there are different aspects of green. We need to be very clear on what we want to stay, the solution or service or product we are offering. For Kenya, that is waste management. We also need to be very clear to speak to the specific. Is it solid waste? Is it water waste? Is it e-waste? We also be specific and tell the investor why your solution should receive the seed capital. In this case, tell us, the Big Green implementation team, why we should fund that business with the seed capital. The next thing, you also consider an illustration to further describe the product or service. It could be an incident that happened in your area. Maybe in Senegal, there's something that happened that motivated you to move into this space. It would be nice, in giving that illustration, you back it up with data. Data will always win any day. Under this product and service, you should also explain how your business, your offering, will leverage the triple bottom line approach. In green economy, whether in waste or other aspects, the fundamental business model is what we call the triple bottom line approach. And the triple bottom line approach speaks to people, it speaks to planet, it speaks to profit. In another place, you will see it as economic, environment, and social. So economic speaks to profit, social speaks to people, and environment speaks to planet. So for a green business, you must show clearly how what you're offering will leverage this triple bottom line approach. Under the product and service, it also highlight the green features of your product. How is your business sustainable? How is your business going to rejuvenate the environment? How will the solution you're offering reduce negative impact on the environment? How, you need to be clear. Also, you need to state any unique solution in case of our friends from Kenya in waste management, or Senegal, South Africa, Nigeria. You the big broad green economy. Under product and service again, you also need to explain why customers should patronize you. In clear terms, are you offering lower cost? Are you differentiating yourself based on cost? Is it technology? Is it waste reduction? Is it energy efficiency? Is it reduction of carbon emission? These things clearly will help the person putting money in your business to know that this business is worth investing in. I must also say, because the money we have in the Big Green program is not limitless, it may not be everybody that submitted business plan that will get it. But what is important is that once you're able to develop a business plan, a compelling business plan, a comprehensive business plan, you never know. Tomorrow you might see another person who will be interested in that business, and looking at your business plan, he will put money in it. So take this serious. It is important. It could be a life-changing moment for many of you on this session. The data makes it more measurable. Thank you. Over to you, Foko. So once you have written the product, talked about the product or the service, the next thing you will be talking about, or the next thing you'll be addressing, will be the industry and market analysis. Industry and market analysis. Under the industry and market analysis, you give the investor an understanding of the industry you're into. What is the prevailing activity going on there? In that industry analysis, you will also speak to government regulations. Are there government actions enabling growth, for instance, in waste management? Are there incentives? Are there incentives in green economy in where you're playing? What are the peculiarities you see in that environment? And part of the tools you use in industry analysis is what we call PESTLE. P-E-S-T-L-E. When you do industrial analysis, you look at the political environment, you look at the economic environment, you look at the social environment, you look at the technological environment, you look at the legal environment, are there legal requirements, and you look at the environment itself, environmental factors affecting the business you do, are there such? So these are some of the things you consider when you're doing industrial analysis. It helps the investor to know whether this business will be sustainable. Because in Africa and the rest of the world, everybody is moving towards green, there's incentive to do green business. So you must let the investor know about this incentive. You know, in some places you hear them talk about hydrocarbon credit. You know, those are the incentives that are in this sector that makes it attractive. Once you have finished with the industry analysis, you now come to the markets that you want to serve. You do a market analysis. What is are there relevant research in the green economy or in the waste management that can give someone an idea of how the market is looking? Let's say, for instance, there's a research that says Nairobi generates 50 million tons of solid waste every month. That 50 million tons of solid waste to some person is a threat, to another person is an opportunity. So such information will help you to do a proper market analysis. What's the size and volume of green economy in your operating environment? Where you have densely populated people, you know there'll be a lot of waste generated. Where you have probably extractive industry, mining, exploration, oil exploration, you will know there'll be a lot of environmental issues. So you look at that, what's the prevailing customer trend in waste management and green economy? Are people embracing it so that if you develop a solution or a product, they will, they will embrace it and patronize you? Also, what is the demography of your target market? Do you see a future in that target market? If you're developing a product that is only to people who are in their 80s, you will know that first off, in Africa, the average age range, the median age is about 20. So it tells you that you have fewer people in the upper echelon. So if you have a solution for such people, it may not be sustainable in the long term. But if the demography is such that they are within 20 and 40 or 20 and 35, and the median age of Africa is 20, it tells you that in the long term, that product or service you're offering will be sustainable. The other thing you talk about in your market analysis is, are you offering, what you're offering, is it B2B, is it business to business solution or product, or is it business to consumer service? That means you can take your product or your service from point of production to the consumption point, through and through. So those are the unique things you need to state in your market analysis, and also what specific group your product or service will cater. These are the information needed in the industry and market analysis you are required to provide.
Donc, dans cette session, nous allons parler de l'industrie, c'est-à-dire le secteur et l'analyse du marché. Donc, pour ce qui est de l'industrie, vous devez dans votre business plan pouvoir montrer comment vous comprenez votre secteur, c'est-à-dire le secteur du business écologique en général. Et si c'est par exemple au Kenya, vous devez indiquer votre maîtrise de l'activité de traitement des déchets. Et ici, il est aussi question de montrer si cette activité peut faire rapporter de l'argent, c'est-à-dire si c'est une activité rentable. C'est à vous de l'expliquer dans votre business plan. Et pour cela, vous devez pouvoir voir s'il y a des opportunités qui ont été offertes par le gouvernement, c'est-à-dire quelles sont les différentes lois qui ont été mises en place afin de pouvoir favoriser ou bien booster l'émergence du business écologique, donc de l'entrepreneuriat vert. Vous savez qu'aujourd'hui, dans le monde, il y a plusieurs gouvernements, les institutions qui essaient de mettre au devant la protection de l'environnement. Et vous devez aussi indiquer si dans votre activité, dans votre pays, il y a, ou bien quels sont les différents acteurs, quels sont les acteurs majeurs qui ont déjà investi et qui peuvent influencer dans, par exemple, vos parts de marché dans ce secteur-là. Donc, concernant maintenant l'analyse du marché, donc ici, il est important que vous puissiez faire vos recherches personnelles afin de pouvoir indiquer les chiffres importants qui existent dans le secteur de l'entrepreneuriat vert. Et pour cela, vous devez regarder les études faites généralement par les institutions internationales qui peuvent, par exemple, donner certaines statistiques crédibles ou donner des volumes ou la taille du marché. Généralement, c'est des analyses économiques qui sont faites sur le plan national ou sur le plan international, et vous allez vous inspirer de ces chiffres pour pouvoir voir s'il y a des opportunités qui s'offrent dans votre secteur. Donc, ce qui va bien évidemment garantir le potentiel de marché. Ici aussi, il est important pour vous d'indiquer qui sont véritablement vos clients préférentiels, qui sont ceux vers qui vos produits s'adressent en termes de gestion des déchets ou en termes d'entrepreneuriat vert de façon globale, de l'économie verte de façon globale. Parce qu'il est important de savoir quelle est la taille de cette population. Est-ce que c'est une population croissante? Parce que vous devez savoir, on investit dans un secteur en décroissance. On investit dans un secteur que parce qu'on sait que le marché, qui a un grand potentiel de marché. Et pour cela, vous devez bien indiquer quelle est votre cible. Est-ce que c'est une activité de business to business, c'est-à-dire d'entreprise à entreprise, ou de business to consumer, c'est-à-dire de votre entreprise directement au consommateur? À qui s'adresse votre produit? Ça, ce sont les différents éléments que vous devez indiquer dans votre business plan. Et pour finir, il faut indiquer comment votre produit va pouvoir se mettre sur le marché et à quel groupe spécifique, quelle est la cible spécifique à laquelle vous allez vous adresser. Voilà ce que nous pouvions dire concernant le secteur et l'analyse du marché. Over to you.
Thank you, Foko. So, like an orchestra, once you're done with the industry and market analysis, the next thing you'll be talking about is who are the people playing in that market that you want to come in. So you help the investor know about the competition so that he will know whether you understand the challenges you're going to face going into that space. So here you state both direct and indirect competitors. An indirect competitor is probably a supplier to your direct competitor. So if the supplier is not giving you, but is giving your direct competitor, he puts you in a very difficult situation. Or if the supplier is selling to you at a different price, he's selling to the competitor, it means that even from the get-go, you are in a very disadvantaged position. So it's important to understand who the direct competitors and indirect competitors are. Describe their product and service offering. What are they offering? Is there something you can do? The essence of this is to find out if there's something you can do differently. And in doing that, you should be able to let your investor know you have discovered something you can do differently. Do they have competitive advantage? Probably they have more money than you. They have more market size than you. What are the disadvantages they have? Sometimes being big is a disadvantage because decision-making can take longer than it should because they are big. Are there barriers to your penetration and gaining market share? Are there barriers? Identify them. Explain how you can navigate these barriers. How can you go around it? Do you have an understanding of that? State your unique proposition. In talking about competition, you are saying, I've seen what the competition is, what the competitor is doing in waste management and solid waste. I'm coming in to do solid waste in this aspect because I've observed that they are not doing it well this way. For instance, it could be that they are using plastics to pack it, and you will come and you say you're using biodegradable containers to pack the waste. You talking about biodegradable has already created that consciousness that this business is green all through, whereas another person is using a non-biodegradable container to pack waste, you're using a biodegradable container to pack it. So that's an example of how you can create a niche and have a value proposition. So this also is what you explain, because what this section does, it gives the investor or it gives us the green implementation team the understanding that you know what you're talking about. It helps us to know that you understand the space you're playing in and what is required to be sustainable in the long term. Explain how you can achieve customer loyalty. Are there give backs? Are there incentives? You know, in some places they can hear things like buy one, get one free. If we take your waste today, for instance, you pay today, will come again tomorrow, you will pay. Something like that. You know, just what you're required to do here, give a clear understanding of the competition you're dealing with and how you can take a percentage of market share. You know, stiltly, before they realize it, you're already a player in that space. Okay, so the next thing you will be required to talk about is SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis speaks to strengths, of weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We've divided it into two. Two of these four factors speaks to the internal, what is internal to the business, and two speaks to what is external to the business. The internal ones are the ones you must do something about, okay? Strength is just what it is. It's what makes you who you are, keeps you strong, keeps you going. Weaknesses are things you must take care of, otherwise they will make you unable to take advantage. I'll give you an example. I know that there are a lot of entrepreneurs here who probably have business idea. The business idea you have is being with you for 2 years or 1 year or 3 years. You've been sitting with it, but there's no money to fund it. That's a weakness. And you're doing something about it by taking a step to apply to this program to take a chance. That's addressing the weakness. You know, the other two aspects is opportunities and threats. They are outside of you. They are outside of the business. So when you look outside, what do you see? Some other persons might see threats, another person will see opportunity. One of the areas you can see threat, it could be legislation, government regulation can be a threat to a business. But because of where we are today, government regulation may not necessarily be a threat to green business or waste management because everybody's focus is on rejuvenating the planet. So, but just to give you an example of what it is. And recall, when we were talking about industry, I mentioned about steel, political factors, economic factors, social factors, technology factors, legal factors, and environmental factors. These also will come in here to look at the opportunities and threats. For instance, government can wake up tomorrow and say, for every person in waste management, every machinery you will import, there is importation duty waiver. That's an incentive, it's an opportunity. It means if you import that machinery, there'll be no import duty. The government will waive it for you. I'll give you an example. In Nigeria, there's also a policy to energize green entrepreneurship. That's an opportunity. So that's what doing SWOT analysis will help you to understand. SWOT analysis will open you up to things you need to do, what you need to hold strongly, what you need to change, opportunities you need to take advantage of, and threats that you need to navigate for your business to survive. So it's important. It helps the investor to know that you know what you're talking about when you say, I am deficient here, I'm making effort to get better. I'm strong here, I'm putting more vitamins, nutrients to become stronger. That is what SWOT analysis will help you do. Once you have talked about the product you're offering, the competition, you've spoken about your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, the next thing the investor will want to see is your operations plan. How do you intend to deliver this product? How do you intend to offer this service? So that's what this operation plan would do. What is in talking about operations plan, you speak to the operations process. What are the resource requirements? Do you need raw materials? Are there patents you need to be mindful of in the area you play in? Are there licenses, permits? Supply chain management. How do you intend to take your product from production to the point of consumption? That is what is important. And there quality assurance you put in place to ensure that what you have promised to customers or consumers is what is delivered. You do this here. Again, you talk about capacity planning. What is the plan you put in place to ensure that demands are met and that customers will not look for your product or service, they will see it. Today, for instance, you're doing waste management in in Nairobi, and the business is expanding. How do you intend to expand with the demand? Is it such that tomorrow you won't be available? The other thing the investor would like to see, what are the dependencies in your operations? Are there aspects of your operation that you depend on somebody? If there is, do you have service level agreement? Because if that person fails, it will affect you. So these things are things you document under your operations plan, clearly to let the investor know that you understand what you're speaking to and that you have plans in place to ensure that the operation goes unhindered. Once you're done with the operations plan, the next thing you will do is your marketing plan. Marketing plan simply is how you will take this product you have produced to the consumers or customers. You look at the 4 P's in marketing: product, place, price, promotion. For services, because they are intangible, there are additional 3 factors that you consider. The people that deliver it, the process that is required. I mentioned that process earlier, where you also talk about the quality assurance to ensure that what you deliver, what you promise is what is delivered. And physical evidence, whatever people can touch. It could be your brand, it could be your brand collateral, whatever that connects you with the people. So you speak to these 7, if you're in service, like waste management services or your solid waste management services. Part of what you'll be doing, even though you'll be packing solid waste, you're also rendering service to the people. So the people that you employ that deliver will be passionate about taking care of solid waste. There won't be such people that will be insulting the customer, letting the customer feel as if they're doing him a favor by packing his waste. So the process of taking that waste, what's the process? Do you do it in such a way that the customers are happy with the service? And also, what physical evidence are you besides the promotion, the price, the place, and the product? These are things that you should pay close attention to. And in pricing, you should do it in such a way that you be competitive. You can look at what are the attributable costs to the service or to the product, and how can you be more efficient. When talking about product, you speak to the uniqueness of the product, and where places where you'll be delivering it. Promotion is how do you let people know about the product or service you're offering. And once you've done that, you also, under marketing plan, state what you will be doing differently compared to competition. Are there research and development initiatives to make you stay ahead of competition? What do you plan with your customer and consumer engagement? Remember, if you're doing B2B, what you have is customer. If you're doing B2C, you have consumer. So it's for you to define your target market and adopt the appropriate engagement strategy with the customer or consumer. So your marketing plan captures all this in one place. So we're almost done with the business plan. The next thing you do after your marketing plan is talk about the management. Who are the people going to manage the resources? If it's an idea, who are the promoters? What have they done before? What experience do they have? What qualification do they have? That way, people, the investors will see whether these are people who can entrust these resources to handle. Can they grow this business and make it sustainable? So is at this section you talk about that. Then again, you talk about the functional departments. What this does, having the functional departments, is to ensure that it's not one person that is doing everything. Let there be checks and balance. You have the financial people, you have the sales people, you have HR, you have that. You have all those responsibilities clearly stated. Even if it's growing, if there's a business idea, we need to see that. Then again, the organizational structure will put it gives an idea of what the management structure is like, and existing staff and vacancies, so that as the business grows, you keep expanding that. So under the management, you let the investor know. Let us know who are the people going to drive this business. Because whether it's technology or money, it is still human beings that will drive this. We need to know the quality of the people that will be handling the resources of the business. The next thing you will talk about is your financial plan. There will be a full session on financial planning. And thereafter, we'll share a financial planning template, which will make the job easier for you. But just to say that there are 3 key statements that usually financial plans should show. One is the profit or loss account. In other places, it's called statement of comprehensive income. It shows the business activities, whether the business made profit or loss. It explains efficient utilization of resources. Because under here, you talk about revenue, you talk about cost, and you bring it down. The next statement is balance sheet. It's also called statement of financial position. In summary, it is asset, what you own should be equal to what you owe and your equity. So the statement shows your position per time, and is important. Once you state this, the investor will see that you really have an understanding of what you're doing. And the third statement, which is also very critical, is the statement of cash flow. The statement of cash flow underlines cash requirement per time. It shows the business's liquidity. Is the business generating income? How often does it generate income? What's the ability of the business to meet obligations when they fall due? There are some entrepreneurs who do not have the financial discipline. Their phone gets spoiled. They will just take money from the till and buy their phone. They wouldn't know the impact of that. Financial statement of cash flow shows how do you turn around cash in your business. You don't wait till the end of the year. Every year, if you're doing business, how often do you turn around cash? So this statement of cash flow shows you. And when you have that session, you'll be informed. Just to let you know, you'll be required to prepare a 3-year cash flow projection. 3-year cash flow projection for new businesses and existing businesses, still 3-year cash flow projection to show where your business will be in 3 years with the injection of this seed capital if you are among the winners. So that's what, again, we would like to see in the business plan. Thank you so much. Just to bring it all together, you will receive this template in case you're asking. You will receive this template to help you prepare your business plan in the coming days. So it's important that you participated in this session. What are the key insights or key takeaways? Number one, developing a comprehensive business plan will help any entrepreneur transform his or her idea into a bankable product. When you think on paper, we call it thinking on paper, you have an idea, you put it on paper and put a structure around it. Anybody who sees it will be able to understand what's in your head. Preparing your business plan will help refine your innovative idea and value proposition. Sometimes you might have a fantastic idea, but until you put it down and probably look at people who are doing the similar thing, you won't be able to refine that solution or the value proposition. When you put it down, you will see. So that's why it's important. Whether you're getting the grant or not, prepare business plan and keep. Destiny fate will bring it to fruition someday. Your business plan captures the problem you seek to solve or solution you are offering. Therefore, it must be as succinct as possible. That's another takeaway. Let it be concise, let it be clear. No ambiguous grammar, simple English. Anybody can understand simple French language, no jargons, no technical terms. Put it down so that a layman can understand it. And finally, takeaways that the future is green. Opportunities in waste management in particular and green economy in general are enormous. You guys are sitting on, you are a special group of people. Seize this moment, prepare your business plan, and see that opportunity translate into profitable initiative for you. I'm confident that a lot of you in the coming days will be grateful for this moment, will be grateful for this program, because you're going to become millionaires and multi-millionaires in the coming years.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, there are not really much questions. The questions really are tied to the questions really are tied to they can't log into the the training platform because the reset password isn't giving them the right password or something. Okay. The question tied to business plan here is, should the business plan be subdivided into subtopics, or it should flow continuously with it, covering them step by step, and how many pages long? This question is from Joseph Kinama.
Fantastic question. It's important that you put your business plan in sections, because each of the sections speaks to specific things. Business plan, a properly written business plan, concise business plan, by the way, because you will still have appendix attached to the business plan. which can make it bigger. But if you have somewhere between 20, 15, 20 pages, it should be sufficient. You should be able to capture your business, your idea in a 20-page document cutting across the asset sectors that we have mentioned. However, if you have a reference document, appendix, some documents you can attach, it will now be for references and all that. You can make it bigger, but for a business plan, between 15 and 20 pages should be sufficient.
Okay, Foko, do you want to help with translating? Please help with translating.
All right, thank you very much, Adora. Thank you, Foko.
Okay, thank you very much,
We've come to the end of the masterclass session today. Thank you, and over to you, Adora.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining the session today. Remember, we have another session on Thursday, the 25th of April by 4 p.m. WAT Nigerian time.